this episode, along with the episodes on Thursday and Friday, centers around Eduardo. And I have to admit that this episode is the second best behind the episode I'm going to be tackling on Thursday. Mainly the fact that with this centering around the fleas inside of Eduardo's fall, then I can instantly say for a fact that this show knew how to make imaginary friends, but in small proportions. The reason Eduardo got fleas is because they came from a dog, and as the fleas enter his fall, the fleas end up multiplying to the point that Eduardo, being the character that he is, refuses to take a bath because it would get rid of the fleas. Frankie and Mr. Hellman try different techniques in order to get rid of the fleas off of Eduardo, but all of them failed. I always feel like that whenever Mr. Hellman and Frankie work together, it really feels like that they know each other a little bit more, but in a healthier way. But with the majority of episodes, it's always a toxic knowing, judging of how Mr. Hellman views Frankie. So it's honestly rare to see these two work together in order to make things work out for Fosters. But at the same time, when you look at the point of view of Eduardo, he just doesn't want to give up anyone, including insignificant beings, to the point that those insignificant beings end up becoming more personal when it comes to what Bloo did to Eduardo's fall. Yes, this is one of those infamous moments that Bloo did something terrible by shredding the fall off of Eduardo, which is something that Frankie nor Mr. Hellman would do. And in all honesty, it's gonna be a lot more difficult to consider on the fact that if Bloo never came up with the idea of shredding the fall off of Eduardo, then I'm pretty sure that the ending wouldn't even happen, which you're gonna hate the logic of how they managed to structure this episode to make this make sense and function, which is something that we probably didn't realize when we watched this episode to see Bloo's character of how he's portrayed. I honestly wish for a fact that they had a different direction, because truth be told, when the fleas take over Mr. Hellman, despite what he and Frankie did, they weren't as bad in comparison to what Bloo did. Yeah, this is also those rare occasions that Mr. Hellman doesn't deserve getting hit himself due to the fleas taking over. You can say he may deserve it due to him being harsh towards Frankie in previous episodes, including the Imposters episode, but with him teaming up with Frankie, no, I don't think that he really deserves it. When we get to the fleas, when it comes to the point of view, they're innocent. Granted, what they did to Mr. Hellman and Frankie is mostly rude, even if it may be excusable, but I can understand that way more compared to what Bloo did to them, to the point where it makes sense onto what they did to Bloo. I'm just saying that with them being displayed in a scenario where they want to live life, but due to them being different, with them being in a smaller scale in comparison to a bigger scale of an imaginary friend, there's so much creativity when it comes to the writers of Fosters. I can say for a fact that remembering this episode when it comes to the fleas, people were probably considered on knowing that there are different ways on making different imaginary friends, and since that it's been shown time and time again from this show, this is also one of the best examples. Next to the Goo episode that came out either before or after this episode. But then again, that doesn't automatically mean that this episode is really good, due to the issues that I've stated involving Bloo's character. Honestly, the fact that Nani.the.tigress didn't give me the request on reviewing the Bloo episode that centers around Bloo, it's himself. Honestly, he probably understood what I stated in my Bloo episode that I talked about earlier this year, and probably watched the Bloo analysis video upon getting the link itself towards the end of that video. I'm just saying, I would consider on what he or she thinks about what the Bloo analysis video is, but then again, with him or her giving me these episodes to review, it's honestly for the best of her of avoiding Bloo mostly at all costs. Truth be told, there could have been a different scenario of the outcome of this ending, because it's supposed to be heartwarming, but when you get older, witnessing the other issues of this episode involving Bloo, honestly, there's a reason onto why I haven't gone back to these shows due to those reasons alone, with other problems involving other shows. But with this show, it's mainly Bloo, and can't be able to consider on with him being a good character after watching the analysis video that overcomes the development involving Eduardo. Because I really feel like that Eduardo's character would have been better if he was carrying the episode, with Frankie and Mr. Hellman being the only ones handling the situation rather than Bloo due to his selfishness. Which is why I'm giving this episode a 6.25 out of 10.